Welcome back to the studio for another week of Three Things to Watch. I'm Carly Smith here with Rob Washburn, and we're here to highlight what's to come in Week 11 of the CAA football season. The race for the title couldn't be much tighter, with 6 teams bunched within a game of first place, and several of those teams meeting head-to-head over the final 2 weeks. The first thing we're keeping an eye on this week is number 22 Rhode Island and number 21 New Hampshire. Both teams are 6-3 overall and vying for a spot in the playoffs, and with only 2 weeks of the regular season left to play, each outing is a must-win game. But of course, as an athlete, every moment of every game is must-win opportunity, and Rhode Island has momentum heading into this matchup after a 26-22 victory over Maine in Week 10. New Hampshire fought hard at Richmond, but came up short last week and suffered their first conference loss of the season, 40-34 to the Spiders. Rob, a lot on the line here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a huge game for two teams who are really highly motivated to make the FCS playoffs. New Hampshire hasn't reached the postseason since its run of 14 consecutive playoff appearances ended in 2017, while Rhode Island hasn't been to the playoffs since 1985, and the Rams still feel the sting of that season-ending loss to Elon last November that probably cost them an at-large bid. While both of these teams feature talented quarterbacks, I'll be watching to see which team's standout running back can make the biggest impact. Rhode Island's Marcus DeShields has been unstoppable as of late, topping the 100-yard mark in 5 straight games by using his bruising style to wear down defenses. When the Rams fell behind Maine 22-20 in the fourth quarter last week, he carried 11 times over the final 9.5 minutes, which included scoring the game-winning touchdown and then helping the Rams grind out the clock. New Hampshire counters with Dylan Laube. He wasn't able to make a big impact in the running game last week at Richmond with the Wildcats trailing 24-0, but he contributed as receiver with a team-high 7 catches and helped turn the momentum around by returning a kickoff 100 yards for a touchdown in the third quarter. He currently leads the nation in all-purpose yardage, averaging 171 yards per game. Now, both of these guys have made big plays all year long, and it'll be fun to see how they impact the game on Saturday.
A lot of fun. Here's what Rhode Island's Jim Fleming and UNH's Rick Santos had to say on the upcoming match.
Lobby's your nightmare. You don't, you're really concerned both as a running back, a running threat, can catch the ball out of the backfield, and then his return stuff is it'll open your eyes. So we're going to have to really control him in particular.
If we want to be a team that gets to represent the CA in the playoffs, we got to prove it. We got to prove it this week. The moment was a little big for us in the first half last week, and I think we showed how good we could be in the second half. So for us, the message is we have to play clean for 4 quarters or whatever it takes.
Now for our second thing to watch, number 8, William and Mary hosts Villanova. The Tribe are tied for first with a 5-1 conference record and are coming off of their 5th straight win last week against Hampton. Villanova's looking to rebound after a loss last week against Towson, and Mark Ferrante told us this week it's all about fundamental football and execution for all 4 quarters. Rob, these teams are always playing each other tough, and Saturday should be no exception.
Yeah, Villanova and William & Mary have split their past 10 meetings, so this series has been about as even as you can get. As you said, William & Mary sits in a 3-way tie for first place and is looking to capture its first CA championship since 2015. While Villanova probably can't win the title, victories in the next 2 weeks would put them very much back in the playoff discussion. Now, a key thing to watch will be whether these two defenses are able to take away what the opposing offenses do best. For Villanova, that means trying to slow down a William & Mary rushing attack that ranks 3rd nationally at 266 yards per game and has topped the 300-yard mark in 3 straight games. The Wildcats struggled against the run in last week's loss at Towson, but in the 2 weeks prior to that, they held UAlbany to 57 yards and Hampton to 26 yards, so they're very capable. Now for William & Mary, it's taking away the big play from a Villanova offense that has produced 18 plays of 40 or more yards this season. The Tribe defense has been great, putting pressure on the quarterback with 24 sacks. They forced 15 turnovers, and they lead the league in 3rd down defense. Whichever defensive unit can slow down the opponent's offensive attack should have a great chance to come out on top.
Let's listen to what William & Mary's Mike London and Villanova's Mark Ferrante had to say about Week 10.
They got a quarterback that can run, throw it. He's dynamic. He can do it. They've got a running game that's pretty good. Defensively, they're fast. Let me go back. Offensively, the receivers, I believe they're all back from when we played them last year and everything. So very capable, very athletic. Can go downfield and go get the ball as well. So Very good football team.
We're going to have to clean up what we did or what we didn't do this past weekend, and we're going to have to play better fundamental football. We're just going to have to do our assignment and alignment correctly and hopefully do it better than they do. But we just need to go down there and play a much better 4-quarter game because we haven't put one together yet. And to beat a team like William Mary, you're going to have to.
The third thing to watch this week features another outstanding top 25 matchup. Number 12, Richmond travels to number 17, Delaware. The Spiders are 5-1, tied for first in the conference, whereas the Blue Hens are 4-2 in league play. Delaware is coming off of a really clean win against Monmouth, where they put up 49 points on the board. And Richmond pulled off a tremendous win against New Hampshire last week, 40-34, the final score. So who's going to make the big plays this week, Rob?
Well, Carly, you never know for sure where the big plays are going to come from, but I'd be willing to bet that 2 of the top quarterbacks in all of FCS football will be involved. For Richmond, that's Reed Uzinski, who is throwing for over 2,500 yards, is completing better than 76% of his passes, and has 22 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. Now for Delaware, that's Nolan Henderson, who's thrown for nearly 2,400 yards, is completing 65% of his passes, and has 25 touchdowns and just 6 interceptions. These guys are both grad students who have played a lot of football, make smart decisions, and are fierce competitors, and are the unquestioned leaders of their team. They're both on the watch list for the Walter Payton Award, which is given to the top offensive player in FCS football, and both are driven to guide their teams to a playoff berth. Now, all that being said, Delaware and Richmond are also the top 2 defensive teams in the CAA, so it won't be easy for either team to move the ball down the field. These teams are very similar, and it's setting up to be a tremendous battle.
Tremendous indeed. Pressure is a privilege. And as Coach Carty said, you want to play meaningful November games, and this one is meaningful. All right, let's hear more on this matchup from Delaware's Ryan Carty and Richmond's Russ Huseman.
It's tough to find flaws in the things that he does when he's dropping back. He's smooth in the pocket. He's very accurate. And I think he's got a very high comfort level with the receivers and the weapons that he has and the offense that, in which he runs. And so I think it's going to be a tough one. We're going to have our work cut out for us, stopping him.
He's one of the best in the country, live arm, just a really good football player, can beat you in a lot of ways. They've got a lot of excellent skill kids from the running back to their wideouts that pose a lot of problems. They can get it to a lot of different people, kind of like us. I like our quarterback, and we got a lot of weapons out there that we can get it to. I think Delaware is very, very similar. A lot of weapons outside.
Another tough week of matchups in the CAA, and each team that steps on the field definitely has their work cut out for them. For coverage throughout the weekend, follow at CAA Football on social media and visit CAAfootball.com for standings, recaps, and more. Have a good one.